we're back. Crazy, I know, it's been too long. Let me check some stuff. Alright, looks good. I'm going to just go ahead, jump into this. I'm gonna record my intro, and then we will get to starting about just kind of everything. I think this first episode is going to kind of cover why I went on such a long hiatus, and yeah, we're gonna kind of go from there. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna switch this over because I can read the comments better that way if I get any. But yeah, so we're gonna do the intro real quick. I'm gonna set that up, and then yeah, we're gonna try and get back into this as best we can. I'm gonna cover why I went on such a long hiatus. And then I'm also going to go ahead and also try to make an actual podcast episode that's not just me talking about why I went away for a while. So we'll see what happens. All right. And here we go. Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Am I the Assholes? We're taking it all the way back to the OG here. And as usual, the usernames of the users whose stories we're reading will be in the description below. Please go give their story and any others that they may have, if they keep them up, some love. And feel free to leave a comment on their post and even tag me in the comments letting them know you heard their story here. My username for Reddit is in the description. You can even tag me in stories you'd like to hear me read. And we'll get started right after this ad. If I still have ads. We'll see what happens. I don't even know if I remember what background music I used for my intros. That's a interesting one. Well, let's listen here. I think that was my intro. Shit if I remember. I think it's these ones. You know, we'll add that to it and see what happens. I think I can hear people arguing out in the hallway. And I can literally only hear it because of the mic. I fucking hate living in an apartment complex. It sucks ass. I am just going to go ahead and have this start as like a whole new season, because I literally think I can hear somebody arguing out in the hallway. Oh, it's not going to let me do that right now. That's okay. We'll go back to this. And then, yeah, so I think to start out, I'm not going to need my iPad. I will get it set up, though, so I can... That's so awkward, because I can hear it because of my mic. Weird! I'm also going to take a little, drink. My throat's a little dry. It's hard to get back into. Anyway, I hope it doesn't get louder. That would be fantastic if that could not happen. Okay. Hi. So, I'm back. I know I went on quite the longer of a hiatus than I said I was going to go on. Honestly, I can't really explain to you guys why I went off for so long. I know it kind of had to do with some depression. I fought with that a lot just shortly after getting married. Nothing to do with the marriage, mind you. My husband is fantastic. But it was mostly just juggling this and being a mom and dealing with the marriage, dealing with setting the wedding up. And honestly, some stuff happened a couple days before the wedding ceremony that is not fun. It has nothing to do with me or my husband. It's just some family member decided that getting drunk and causing problems a couple nights before the wedding was the right thing to do. So I was dealing with a lot of that. And I just kind of, I guess, needed a break from social media for a while. It kind of happened. So yeah, I took a longer break than I originally said I was going to. And you know what? To be fair, it happens. I just needed a break, I guess. I changed jobs thinking that that would help, and it didn't. And to be fair, depression sucks all around. It hits all of us differently. It affects all of us differently. And, you know, we do weird and strange things that we think are going to fix our problems, and they don't. So I just went ahead and gave this up for quite some time, kept saying to myself, I'll pick it back up when we move, when we have a bigger space, when I can, you know, have my own place to do it. And the more I told myself that that was the reason I was doing this, the more I realized that, honestly, I was just lying to myself. Flat out, that's what it was. I was lying to myself, saying that when we moved and got a bigger place and I had an office or a desk, things would get better. I would pick this back up. And I decided that I didn't want to wait anymore. I didn't want to go back to waiting and missing doing this with you guys. So I decided I'm coming back. I didn't really want to wait this long, but I got some other stuff figured out. I got a new logo. If you guys can see it, the new logo is out. It is completely me. It is something I had somebody on Fiverr make for me. And honestly, she was fantastic. If you ever want to know where I got my logo from, please feel free to message me. I will gladly send you her information and send you her way, because she is fantastic. She also did my husband's logo for his YouTube and Twitch channels. She's very, very good. And she did really good within the time frame that I gotten, because when I think she did it within like 2 days, 3 tops, with a couple of revisions. She was fantastic, and I have no regrets getting myself a logo. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to hit that up and let you guys know why I went away for so long. There will be some changes, as if you re-listen to the trailer that I remade. Again, I know I said I wasn't going to make a third trailer, but shit happens, I guess. So I am getting rid of Mom Mondays. I know some people might be saddened by that, but honestly, the page that I was getting all the juicy and stupid questions from, they actually started paying attention to the questions that were being submitted to the page, and they kind of cut it out. So no more Mom Mondays for now, unless you have some weird fucked up baby mama, baby daddy drama that you want to send in. I will gladly read them and give you my thoughts process on it. If you have an embarrassing story that you would like, that your kids have done that you want told, feel free to send that my way too. I will be more than happy to read that. I can't necessarily mean that it'll bring back Mom Mondays, but I think we'll get by. The other big change is going to be no more Fright Days. Fridays will no longer be the scary storytelling thing. I just think that what I was doing with it was too much for me. And so I'm trying to start out more simple, see where this is all going, see how I feel after a while. But I do plan on this being a normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing again, like it used to be. It's just kind of one of those things where I can't lie to you guys. I'm not going to say that this is going to be permanent for the rest of my life, but I want it to be. I want it to be something that I do, you know, Monday, Tuesday. I put out for you guys Mondays, Tuesdays, and Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Oh my goodness, I can't even talk today. And just, I want to enjoy it with you guys. Between doing this and trying to take better care of myself, It's just, I feel like a step closer to the better mental health situation that I want to be in for myself and for my family. But enough about me, enough about the sag sack of Phoenix. Let's get into an Am I the Asshole reading. Alright. Am I the asshole for bringing peanut butter cookies to a family dinner where there was a peanut allergy? As usual, for those who are new, watching, listening, I don't read these before I read them here. I will do a little bit of a skimmy skim, and the main thing that I read is the title, and that's it. I read absolutely nothing else about the story itself. I may do a little bit of skimming, like as I'm going through, if there's multiple pages that I need to screenshot, because I'm screenshotting them now instead of just saving them, so that way if the person decides to backtrack and take it down, I still have it. Because if anybody remembers a Fright Day episode, we had that exact same thing happen. So yes, I have gone through, I have screenshotted, I have still had people send me in posts that have been deleted, so I'm screenshotting them now and keeping them. And that's how we're going through. I will still put their usernames on there, but again, I can't guarantee anymore that the post will be there. I might have to change my intro up. I haven't done that yet. Didn't think about it. Anyway, let's continue. Ever since childhood, I've loved peanuts. I ate peanut butter and jelly pretty much every day at school, and my favorite snack at baseball games is roasted peanuts. However, my cousin, we'll call her Mary, is allergic to peanuts. As a small child, she would vomit after eating just one nut. That's gross. That actually, I think, triggered my acid reflux. She eventually got tested, and it was determined that she could not eat them. Her allergy isn't severe enough for her to react from being in the same room, but she still can't stand the smell of them. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I can kind of understand that thought process. I used to do daycare, and we had a kid that was actually so allergic to peanuts that he, hold on, I'm gonna adjust my camera real quick. He would break out even just touching the shell of a peanut. He had gone to the hospital, I think one night, him and his parents went to a baseball game. He picked up the shell of a peanut and he broke out. It was, I know that there are some allergies that can be very, very, very dangerous and deadly for some people that have peanut allergies. Well, last week we were celebrating my grandmother's 75th birthday, and Mary's mother, we'll call her Sarah, reminded the whole family that Mary was allergic to peanuts and that we would need to check food labels to make sure no peanuts were in the foods we were bringing. I was so sick of getting these reminder emails, and for a long time I found it completely unfair that I'm expected to refrain from eating peanuts even though I'm not allergic. I've decided that I would just bring some peanut butter cookies to the party, and I wrote on a post-it note that they were not for sharing. I was sick of Sarah attempting to control me. I brought very few cookies and didn't want anyone to get curious and eat my dessert, especially Mary. Well, when the dessert came around, I took the cookies out of the cabinet and cracked the lid. The cookies were very fragrant, and many of the party guests, including Mary and Sarah, took notice. Sarah got very aggressive and started asking me if the cookies contained peanuts. I told her that they are peanut butter cookies and that I was going to enjoy them myself. I also told her that I had been inconvenienced for years by their paranoia that her allergy wasn't severe enough not to be in the same room as peanuts. Mary walked into the other room, clearly bothered by the smell, as I enjoyed my dessert. Sarah was fuming mad. She said that I was out of line, but I gently reminded her that she sometimes makes recipes that are smelly to me also. She tried to claim that this was different and that I was being selfish. I laughed and called her a massive hypocrite. My wife later told me that I was behaving horribly and that I needed to behave to Mary and Sarah. I told my wife that they should apologize to me after years of abuse and that I was standing my ground. Since the dinner, other family members have come forward to urge me to say that I'm sorry, but I don't think I should have to. I haven't done anything that Sarah hasn't done, and it felt good to put her in her place. I don't want my other family members to dislike me, but I don't really feel that guilty either. Am I the asshole? So, these are those moments and these stories that get me. Honestly, I think both sides are the asshole in this. And you feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to disagree with me however you please. But let me put, how do I want to put this? You're the asshole because you know that it bothers her. And I can understand if maybe the celebration was for her and you doing it there, but the fact that it wasn't necessarily about Mary, I also want to say you're not the asshole, because it's not like you brought them to share. It's not like you brought them to be like, and wave them under her face and be like, hey, look, peanut butter, don't eat it. Like, you brought it for yourself to eat by yourself, not to share with everybody else at the party. But at the same time, if it bothers you that sometimes your Aunt Sarah makes foods that to you are smelly and you just have to suck it up, if you know how that feels, why would you do the same thing to your cousin when it's an allergy and it makes her actually sick? Like, there's a difference between a food that smells bad and you just avoid than a food that makes you actually vomit and gag and makes it so you can't enjoy anything else. So, like I said, I can understand, like, the walking on eggshells feeling, because I've been in that situation with family, especially family. And I can also understand the just kind of being done and fed up with it. But at the same time, it's an allergy. It's not like she is in control of it. It's not like she, turns it on and off all the time. Do I think that maybe her mom took it a little bit too far, and with the constant email reminders, I'm going to say yes. But at the same time, I do think you should at least apologize for putting your cousin in the situation where it's like, hey, like, I know you really hate the smell of peanut butter because it upsets your stomach and because you're allergic to it. I'm sorry. I kind of got tired of not being able to enjoy one of the things I enjoy most for a dessert. But I do kind of think you're the asshole, but at the same time, your aunt's kind of an asshole too. I'm not going to say your cousin is, because it feels like she doesn't have anything to do with it. This seems a lot like it's on the aunt. So honestly, I think both sides are the asshole in one way or another. Not necessarily all complete, but I do think apologies need to be given on both sides. All right, we're going to move into the next one. This one is a very short one, so I apologize. Some of these are quite short. I tried to find longer ones that are newer. Honestly, I think most of the long ones that I have saved in this album are probably ones that have been sent to me or that I found that are like older and have already been deleted. I think some of them have been saved from the, let me see if I can find one real quick. Like from the repost, like the Reddit repost page. Yeah, the best of Redditor updates. That's the name of the group. All right. Am I the asshole for standing up for myself? Again, we always give an opinion before we read the rest of the story. No, you are never the asshole for standing up for yourself. You may do it in an asshole way, but your feelings are valid 9 times out of 10 in any situation. If it makes you uncomfortable, your feelings are valid. You are never the asshole for standing up for yourself. 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying that standing up for yourself, you're never the asshole, because honestly, sometimes some of us are assholes, but we live with it. And necessarily, to be fair, being an asshole isn't always the bad thing. Anyway, for the most part, my sister and I get along. But every once in a while, she'll just come out of nowhere and we'll just say something really nasty and mean-spirited. A few nights ago, we were hanging out and I mentioned that I wish I got paid more. She just goes, "Why? Your job isn't that hard at all." I work in sales. She's a lawyer and never lets me forget the I work from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. most days stuff. It just seems to me like a rude thing to say. I responded by saying that I guess I should feel lucky that I'm not worse off, such as being 100 pounds overweight like she is, Ouch. I too am 100 pounds overweight. I mean, it's probably more like 60, but I'm fat. I get it. I told her that, she took offense. I told her that her summer beach bod was looking great, and she told me to knock it off. I made the case that she didn't need to say what she said and start things off so rudely. There was no condescending on her, there's no conceding on her end, no apology, just outrage over what I said. Am I the asshole? I mean, I feel like this is a very sibling type thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I have a sibling that I have not had to interact with in 7 years, so I might be a little rusty on that end. But you kind of never really forget what being a sibling is like when you grew up with somebody. You guys are going to fight. You guys are going to say really bad shit to one another just to get under the other person's skin. So, did you need to really bring her weight into the conversation? No. Did she really need to kind of like dismiss your feelings? Absolutely not. So, once again, I think I'm going to have to say, you're not the asshole in this. I'm sorry. Like, I can understand being hurt and upset. And like, okay, you might be like a little bit of the asshole. Like a little sprinkling, maybe a little cherry on top. But honestly, no. I mean, if I were to call somebody out and dismiss somebody's feelings, I don't think I can really say like, after I'd had time to think about it, I can't say that I would be upset that I would get called out in another way or another because I said something rude. Like, isn't that the whole golden rule? Treat the others how you want to be treated? If you don't want somebody to make fun of you, maybe you shouldn't make fun of them or dismiss their feelings. So I kind of, I think I'm on OP's side on this. I don't think you're the asshole. I just think you and your sister fight. I mean, not to dismiss, like, what she did to you at all. That's not my intention in any way, shape, or form. But you guys are siblings. You guys are gonna fucking fight. I literally have no idea how else to put it. Give me one moment. Hermione, please do not pee on that. I mean, I don't think you will, but I don't know why else you're laying on it. I spilled my water before recording, and now there's a towel on the floor, and she's just laying on it. Alright. On to the next one. I have no idea how long I'm going to try and make these episodes. I know in one bit I can record up to an hour, or at least last I knew I could. Anchor has definitely been updated. It is also called Podcasters for Spotify. There's that good old not being able to word very well. It is now called Podcasters for Spotify. They haven't given me a new updated ad thing, so I'm assuming still calling it Anchor is fine, because also when I downloaded my trailer, it does say Anchor still in the bottom, so I think we're still in the process of moving all that over. We'll see what happens. Anyway, am I the asshole for telling my friends I hope they move out of state? I mean, ouch. That seems kind of hurtful. Sorry. So I've had these friends for a while who have always been draining and push my boundaries. We're going to say this once together. Those are not your friends. Those are assholes. Friends do not push your boundaries in unhealthy ways. Now, there is a difference between pushing your boundaries in a healthy and unhealthy way. But if you are ever in a position where somebody is pushing your boundaries and you tell them to stop multiple times and it makes you physically and mentally uncomfortable and you do not like it, then yes, they are the asshole, not you. I'm just putting that out there. Okay. They began as starter friends. I was new to the city, and they were also looking for friends on Bumble BFF. That is a thing. Bumble has a friendship thing. I tried that when I lived in a different state. Personally, it did not work out very well for me. That's okay, though. We started hanging out, and while we don't have a lot in common, and they're very pushy people as far as needing to hang out multiple times a week, they were decent friends for a while. they don't sound that decent. I'm not gonna lie. When I started dating my partner months ago, they became even needier, wanting to do couple activities all the time. We tried to humor them by seeing a concert and getting drunk together. Hold on, I'm gonna take my pen off so I can hold this better. Okay. Oh, getting drunk together, but when we did, they told a story about a time that they were on a plane and were nervous. Long story short, it had loads of... This is a phobia that I did not know happened. Islamophobia, so I'm assuming it has to do with a very racist undertones. So, trigger warning from here on out, just because I don't know where else the story is going to go. Again, I don't read them before I read them here. And it ended with, and I hate to say it, but he was brown. Not only does this not align with our values at all, racism, but my partner is also a person of color. But this isn't where it ends. Of course it's not. After the incident, I told them how I felt about the story and that I thought it was racist. I decided to step back from the relationship to consider how to proceed. However, while I'm processing, they began to spam text both me and my partner, and eventually he messages me on gaming console telling me off for ignoring him, even when I know they're trying to move out of their house. So I told him that the pros of this relationship were not balancing the cons, but I wished him well and told him I hoped they have a safe move, hopefully out of the state. Am I the asshole? Honestly, no. If you don't get along with their sense of humor, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody's sense of humor is going to be your sense of humor, and that's okay. Does that necessarily make them, like, the most terrible people on earth? No. But it's not invalid of your feelings to wish that they would kind of leave you alone, and obviously them moving sounds like it would be the better option in order to make that happen for you. So, honestly, no. I don't think you're the asshole in this. I would honestly probably feel the same way. I just would not have the balls to say it to them myself. I'm a very anti-confrontational person. But I will stand by you and root for you and, be like, yo, kick their ass, like, shit on his lawn. Like, we're all for matching energies here, but I personally do not like confrontation when it comes to myself. I usually am just very bad with words when it comes to that kind of situation. So I'm just better off standing there and waiting for the other person to spew their words, and then I just kind of walk away. I'm terrible with that. But I will be your biggest cheerleader when it comes to you fighting somebody else. Like, you want to fight somebody else? Be like, bitch, I will take you there, and I will drive you away for the cops to show up. But don't ask me. Don't ask me for help. I will just stand there and record. So you can remember it later on. All right, we're going to do another one. Am I the asshole for suing my parents for college money? My great aunt set up a savings account for all of her female relatives. In our culture, education for women is not really valued, and she thought that was bullshit. Go, great aunt. She lived with her father in London, where she was educated. She went on to attend university and became a doctor. She married a British man. They moved to America and had a great life. She funded the education of as many of her nieces and grandnieces as she could. When she passed away, she left money for every girl relative she could. My parents managed to access the accounts that were set up for my sister and I. They used it to pay for my brother's wedding. My sister didn't care because she got married 2 years out of high school and had no intentions of going to college. When I graduated, I went to the bank to get money for school, and it was almost all gone. There was like $13,000 left. I'm assuming where these people are, that's given. Like I mentioned in my trailer, I have not gone to college. I can only assume, like, the drop in the 10-gallon bucket, $13,000 is to pay for college. Like, to me, that just sounds ridiculous that even $13,000, which is what would be considered a car for some people, or a down payment on a house for some people, is not even a fraction of an appropriate amount that would pay for college for people. For anybody, in any state that you're in. The fact that $13,000 would not pay for you to have a higher education is completely ridiculous to me. Yeah, I'm going to continue on, otherwise I will start a rant. We don't want me to rant. I asked my parents about it, and they said that they had needed the money. I finally found out where the money went. I got furious, I got student loans, and moved out. I am a great source of shame to them, and I don't give two fucks. Hell yeah! Do not give two fucks about that. I am currently suing them for the money that was left for me. My entire family is against me. They all think I am a complete asshole for airing private family business in public. They did it on their own. I am putting that money ahead of family. My friends are all on my side, but they are all Americans and don't really get my culture. Neither do I, to be honest. My brother called me up and offered to pay for my university if I dropped the lawsuit. I agreed as long as we had a legally binding contract. That's right. Do not just take people's words anymore. We need that shit written down and signed legally. He said I was being an asshole for not trusting him. That makes me think that he was literally just asking you to fucking drop the lawsuit so that way it would be done and over with, because I don't think he ever intended on paying you anything. I said he should not have accepted my money for his wedding. It is causing all kinds of embarrassment in our community. I am somewhat ashamed to be doing this, but I don't want to have this debt I should not have. And you shouldn't. Just flat out, you should not have this debt. You were originally had everything paid for, and you were under the... What's the word I'm thinking of? You were under the impression that you had college paid for. So to go and find out that you only had $13,000... To me, $13,000 would be, like, fantastic right now. So to downplay $13,000 is causing me great pain internally. But to find out you only had $13,000 for college is just bizarre to me that you had college paid for, which makes me wonder how much there really was there. And honestly, I personally think, one, you are not the asshole in this situation. If your parents did not want to be embarrassed by this, then they should not have done it to begin with. And your brother, like you said, never should have accepted the money. Although, to be fair, to be the devil's advocate, do we know that he knew where that money came from? Because, I mean, to be fair, if his parents didn't, if your parents did not tell him, then I can kind of understand not really blaming him. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm adjusting. That happens a lot in this podcast. Let's not knock shit over, though. You're not the asshole. You deserve that money back, especially because with loans and stuff like that, we all know that you don't just get the loan and then you pay that same amount back. There is an addition to the loan. And now, now that you're taking them to court over it, you also are going to have court fees, which again, you should not have because they never should have touched that money. It makes me wonder, one, if your great aunt is still alive. You don't mention it in the story, so that's what I'm saying, if. But if your great aunt is still alive, I personally would be that petty and get in touch with her and be like, yo, so this happens because at the same time, if she can prove that that money was literally just set aside for you and was never intended to be accessed by your parents for anything but college for you, then she might be able to get in on that too. I'm just saying. Like, if they want to not be embarrassed and have things made public, they shouldn't have done shitty things. Because everything comes to light. We all know this. I'm going to have, like, a hole right where my lipstick is from drinking. But I don't care. I need water. Alright. On to the next one. Am I the asshole for telling my grandchildren's father I don't owe his other children anything? I mean, this one might hit home because I am a stepmom, so we might see where this goes. I might be a little biased on this one. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I lost them. That's a great way to start this off. I lost my youngest daughter, Joy, a decade ago. She left behind her husband and 2 children who are now 15 and 16 years old. My daughter was very close to her dad and me when she was at her sickest. She begged us to stay in the kids' lives and make sure that they always knew she loved them and that we were her family just as much. She mentioned how worried that she was that her husband would encourage them to forget her and would try to replace her for them with a new woman. She asked that we leave anything we might have left her to her children. We assured her we would never let the relationship end and that we would make sure that they had a good life and would remember her always. 8 months after she died, her husband moved his now wife into their home. She had a baby with someone else and was also expecting a baby with someone. At that point, he did attempt to make it a package deal where we could not see our grandchildren without treating his now stepchildren as our grandchildren, and that we were to treat all future children of his the same. Otherwise, we would need to be cut out to give our grandchildren the chance to form the new family bonds without interference from us. I am no longer biased in this situation. Sorry. They deserved a chance to have another mother and only see the new children as true siblings. Their lawyer told them that we would have a case to get grandparents' visitation. We also sought advice on if we were denied access, if we could obtain that. We were told to close our relationship with the children. We were told, given our close relationship with the children, it would be easy to get access through the courts. This led to us getting minimal access, but it was all that was needed because our grandchildren were glad to see us and their aunts and uncles and cousins. In the last few years, my former son-in-law has now found himself estranged from his own family, and his wife's family are no longer in the picture, and he has had 6 children, not counting my grandchildren. Ugh. I can't imagine having that many kids in my house. Like, good Lord. Like, don't get me wrong. I love my son. We just got back from being on spring break, and I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to have him back in school and have some quiet time. Because most of my quiet time while he was home was him asleep, which was me asleep. And so I cannot imagine having 6 kids in the house. I would probably be bald from pulling my hair out. Just plain and simple. I would be bald. I would be a bald phoenix. Okay, sorry. Let me find my spot again. Okay. He has found himself estranged from his own family and his now wife as they are no longer in the picture, and he has 6 children, not counting my grandchildren, in his home with no family or support outside of him and his wife. Now that my grandchildren are teenagers, they seek to spend more time with us, and their lives have benefited from it. We admittedly spoil them more than some would like because of the circumstances, but they are wonderful children. Their father confronted me recently about his other children and how they have no extended family and are suffering seeing their siblings being spoiled. He also said that we have already come between our grandchildren and their siblings because they are not close and have never asked for their siblings to be a part of the extended family they have. He told me I owe it to his children to step in and give them love and some of the same spoiling. I made a very inappropriate hand gesture. And if you go listen to this on and / watch it on YouTube, you will see it after the fact. I told him I did not owe his children anything and that I would never forgive him for what he attempted to do before. He told me I was cold-hearted and callous. Part of me wonders if he's right because the children are innocent. Even though I have never considered them family, they are still young and nothing to do with my former SIL's actions. Sister-in-law's actions. What? Sister-in-law. I don't know where sister-in-law comes from. I think he means daughter-in-laws. I don't think they meant sister-in-law. Because SIL stands for sister-in-law. Honestly, I'm going to come out and say it. This guy sounds like he wants you to back his terrible choice in having multiple children that he apparently cannot afford. Because it's kind of like, some of y'all are going to hate me for this analogy. It's kind of like having a pet. You can get a pet for free. Like, I can go on Facebook and by tonight I could have another cat if I wanted to. But if you can't afford to feed the cat and take care of the cat or the dog or any pet that you get, and you only give them the bare minimum, I mean, what good is that going to do? It puts more stress on you. It puts more stress on them. And children, they deserve to be spoiled. I'm not saying that you as a parent have to spoil them all the time. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that it sounds like the dad and the mom have kind of screwed themselves out of the good graces of their extended family, and now they want his ex-wife's, his late wife's parents to step in and start spoiling his children that they have no connection to. If they had ever shown an interest in wanting to spoil said children and be a part of their lives, and now are just deciding not to because they'd be the only ones doing that, I would say yes, they're kind of the assholes. But the fact that they have shown from the beginning to not have any interest in these other kids, not wanting to have anything to do with these other kids, and just wanting to spoil their biological grandchildren, I'm not going to say that they're the asshole on this. Nobody wants to pick up for somebody else when they should be, something that they should be doing on their own. Now, my dad, even before I had my kid, he never treated my stepkids any differently than he does my son now. So, at the same time, I can't say I would personally blame him if he didn't want to treat my stepkids the same way he treats his biological grandson. I would think of him differently. But I wouldn't, sit there and be like, you need to treat them the same or you're never going to see this one. You can't... Some people just feel differently about children that are not theirs. And it happens. It's going to happen. Some people just... there are some women out there that they don't want to be a stepmom. They go, I know I can't enjoy or like kids that I am not biologically related to. And for some people, there's just that little bit that's missing from them that makes them open to stuff like that. And there's not anything wrong with those people. There's not. But if there's only something wrong with you if you actively seek out to be an asshole to that person just because you're not related to them. This doesn't sound like that. This literally sounds like, I don't support your choice to have all of these children that you can't afford, and I'm not going to be the one picking up the slack for it. I mean, just in all fairness, that's what it sounds like, and no, I don't think you're the asshole for that. And I kind of think that's the only thing I really have to say about it. Well, we're at 40 minutes right now, so I think we will go ahead and do another one. We might have time for one or two more. We will see where we're going. We'll see where we're at when we hit that 50-minute mark. Am I the asshole for embarrassing my sister brother-in-law, and his friend after I was set up on a surprise blind date. Give me a second. I need to take a drink for this. Surprise blind dates suck. I'm just gonna say it. For somebody like me who is very uncomfortable with surprises in general, I would be livid. I would be completely awkward. No more, probably even more so than I am on a normal day basis. But to be put under that kind of pressure, it sucks ass. It just sucks ass. So I'm gonna already say no, you're not the asshole in this, but I reserve my right to change my mind after we read the story. Am I the asshole for... Oh, sorry. I already read the title. Let's not do that again. I, 25F, have never been interested in romantic relationships. And that's valid. You cannot feel that way, and you are still a valid person. Just like if you're trans, just like if you're gay, just like if you're, if you're non-binary. If you feel that through to your core, you are valid. You are valid. I just want to make my stance known there. It doesn't just appeal to me. I have been very busy with grad school and work, and I like being on my own. I have friends and a dog, and that's honestly enough. And that's still valid. I'm happy with my life. My family thinks it's weird beyond belief, and the pressure has ramped up now that even my younger brother has gotten married, and I'm the only one left on the shelf, quote unquote. My older sister's husband has been offering to set me up for years because I'm too hot to stay single. Whatever that means. That gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies. I need a moment, because that makes me severely fucking uncomfortable to hear. I don't know why, it just sends chills up my spine. If it does too, hit the like button. Sorry. I've always tried to refuse politely, but it's wearing thin. Okay, listen. If you constantly have to politely, quote unquote, refuse something, after the third time, it's just, fuck you, I don't want it. Or just be like Chris Evans and his nephew. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Because at some point, after hearing it for the fourth or fifth time, I probably would have been like, I don't fucking want to do that. I don't give a flying fuck. Leave me alone. I was home visiting my parents this weekend, and my sister invited me out to dinner at a new restaurant. It was an upscale place, so she had said to wear something nice. I thought it was just going to be the three of us, but there was another guy in the car when they picked me up. He said he was brother-in-law's friend, Joe. Awkward, but not too unusual. We get to the restaurant and sit down, and Joe keeps trying to make conversation with me, with brother-in-law and my sister egging it on, and I finally joke, am I on a date or something? What's with all the questions? And my sister straight up says, yes, we thought you just needed a little push, so we decided to set you two up. My dudes, I'm gonna make this as simple as I can. Don't fucking do that to people. Oh, God. I'm gonna, reiterate, 60s, 70s here for a second, but fucking gag me with a spoon, why don't you? Holy shit. I asked Joe if he knew about this, and he admitted that brother-in-law told him he wanted to set him up on a blind date, but that he was glad he came. So I was the only one that didn't know it was a date. I was pretty mad, but I didn't want to cause a scene in the restaurant, so I finished dinner and gave a really short response to questions. So you're in a PhD program? Yes. What's that like? Busy. And the evening just stayed really uncomfortable and awkward. Joe apologized in the car, and I told him it wasn't his fault, but he probably shouldn't let brother-in-law set him up again, and I wasn't interested in dating anyone. Apparently, he told brother-in-law off in the car about making him look bad so that he didn't even have a chance. My sister is mad because I was rude and embarrassed them when they were just trying to help me out of my shell. My parents think I should have appreciated the gesture and given Joe a chance because you never know, and want me to apologize. Nah, fuck them. Fuck them. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it for one more time just in case y'all thought I was like stumbling over my words or I didn't understand the story. Fuck them. I apologize for those listening using earphones on that. You don't do that to people. That is so rude. It's so uncomfortable. And it makes for that. Nobody wants to have that as their fucking meet cute story. Like, Mommy, Daddy, tell me how you met. Oh, well, your aunt and uncle set me up on a blind date and I didn't even know it was a blind date. And surprise! That shit may work in movies with Hollywood. That shit doesn't work in real life. Nobody is going to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you set me up on this surprise blind date. I had no time to mentally prepare myself. I had no time to think about what I was going to say or what I was really going to wear. Like, I love this. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. If you do, you're a psychopath. I'm sorry. Nobody wants that to be their meet cute story about how they met their freaking future husband or wife. Nobody in their right mind would want that. Would it be kind of like a cute funny story to tell later on? Be like, yeah, like, what's the most awkward date you've ever been on? Like, oh, that is the story that will happen. It's not going to be like, I met the love of my life with somebody that I've never met before on a blind date that I didn't even know I was on until halfway through it. Nobody is going to enjoy that. It is going to be awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable. And if you think that that's going to work for your friend or your family, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. I'm going to do this one. And then I think we're going to call it. Because I'm getting all wound up again. Just happens, I guess. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she's the reason our parents are divorcing? Well then, let's end on this note. That sounds fantastic. About a month ago, my 24M parents, 55F and 57M, announced they were getting a divorce. This has been quite a shock to most people as they seem to be having issues out of the ordinary. What? To most people as they seem to be having two issues out of the ordinary. Okay, whatever. However, I have been the only one privy to the information of why they are divorcing. It is because of my sister, Anne, 26F, quote unquote. Anne is a deadbeat. She has never worked more than 14 hours a week since getting expelled from college for multiple acts of cheating and code of conduct violations 5 years ago. God damn. All she does is sit at home most days watching TV or going over to her loser boyfriend's house to get high. You know, this reminds me of somebody. I don't want to call him. Friend, not boyfriend or anything. She feels no need to support herself and expects my parents to carry her through life. She's been in therapy since she was 14, but cannot keep one for more than a year because she gets dropped as a client due to her lying and inability to show up to appointments. Completely valid. My parents have spent over a decade trying to get some mental issues pinned down for Anne, and all they've gotten is she's just a lazy narcissist. Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to break it to anybody listening or watching. There's no cure for narcissism. Just plain and simple. They gotta want to do it on their own. Last year, my mom decided enough was enough and planned to kick Anne to the curb and wash her hands of her. Dad disagreed, and in the end, the two's marriage got torn apart. I know because both have come to me basically admitting that if Anne was not a factor, divorce would not even be a consideration. I don't get along with Anne for a variety of reasons. She has always been a bully and owes me a large sum of money at the moment. The thing that boils my blood, though, is that she's oblivious to the situation between our parents or just doesn't care. She had a literal tantrum when the possibility of the house being sold came up because she doesn't want to have to move to an apartment with my dad. I'm done. Last night, I found myself at my parents' house and had the misfortune of talking to Anne. Anne mentioned that she's getting really sick of my mom's melodramatic shit and not just leaving the house to her and my dad. I think this bitch needs to be fought. So I'm just putting that out there. I think she needs to be fought. Not by me, but by somebody. Something struck me at that moment, and I just asked Anne if she really does not care that she's such a selfish, garbage, waste of space human that she's driven her parents to get a divorce. I elaborated and told her the full truth that she is in fact the only reason they are getting divorced because my mom's finally realized that there is no hope Anne will ever grow up. The shitstorm this has caused was massive. Anne acted as if I sold her out to the Romans. Sorry, I love that analogy. And my parents argued between, she deserves to know, and we told you that in confidence, because Anne cannot keep her mouth shut either. The entire extended family has begun to hear too, and I want to know before opinions start forming outside of the inner circle if I am the asshole here. I understand being told something in confidence and it being let out. I can understand if maybe they were not like all hush hush about it and were kind of like at least saying it to like maybe a couple other people besides just you. I think you're the asshole in the way that you shouldn't have said it that way. But I do also believe that she needs to know that she is the reason your parents are getting a divorce. Plain and simple. She deserves to know that because of her lack of ability to adult, which, given, I can't exactly say that at the age of 26, I was really a full adult either, given that was only 5 years for me. 7 years for me. So I can understand the awkwardness of being 26 and still trying to figure yourself out. But at the same time, you should at least have a hang on how to, or at least some sort of iota of an idea on how to adult. And you probably shouldn't still be living at home at 26 if you can't help it. Because it sounds like she can help it. She just refuses to. So we're at this weird kind of position where it's like, if your presence is putting such a damper on somebody else's life, one, you definitely deserve to know. Because sometimes for some people that might just be the hint that you need to fucking shit or get off the pot. And to finally stop, like, change things around for yourself, maybe. Like, maybe it would give her a second look and be like, ah, shit, like, I'm really this kind of asshole, and damn, like, I need to fix this about myself. Yeah, I think she needs to know. I think the way that it maybe came out was probably not the greatest, but I do believe in the end she needed to know. As for the extended family, I think when drama like this happens in a family, no matter what, people are going to make their own opinions, especially if the real reason why has been hidden. So I think in the long run, this is going to be better all around because everybody will be on the same page. It won't be like, oh, well, I heard it's because this so-and-so cheated. I heard it's because this person cheated. I heard it's because this person has a gambling problem and the other person can no longer take it. People are going to come up with their own plot lines for why drama is happening in the family. At least this way, it's all out there. It's all out there online, or it's all out there. Like, nobody has to worry about, like, why the divorce is happening. They just know that there's a person to blame, and it's not the two people getting a divorce. So, I think the way that it was said was kind of done in an asshole way. But you know what? I think everybody at some point needs a little sprinkling of asshole in their day to set them straight. So you might be the asshole, but at least you're not wrong. So that's what I've got to say about that one. All right. Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. If you know someone who likes my content, feel free to send me their way in a share. If you would like to send me a message with your own story, rant, question, unpopular opinion, or want me to tell others how you fucked up today, or, any day, send me a message via any of my social media found in the description below. Just look for my cute little avatar you see on whatever app you're listening on. Please give a rating if you enjoyed what you heard today. I hear they help out tremendously. And as always, I will catch y'all next time. Bye! Man, that went a lot better than I thought it was going to. I was not sure how... I don't know why my freaking top lip itches right below my nose. I hate that. Yeah, I thought that went fantastic. I fell into the groove again a lot quicker than I thought I would. And I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad I'm picking this back up. And I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, for those of you that stayed and just popped in and out. But yeah, I will catch y'all next time. Bye. If I can hit the button.